Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about the other video? This is another paid request, this time from Nate. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. This is for a film called Meet the Applegates. Now, I might have seen this film once or twice before, and I didn't remember much about it. It's from Michael Lehmann, who did Heathers, which is a pretty fun, dark comedy. And then this was his second film, and then he would go on to do, I believe, Hudson Hawk. And I forget what he did afterward. I think he's done a few other films I've seen, but I can't remember their names. But kind of weird to do this as a second film after Heathers. But I guess you watch Heathers, this, and Hudson Hawk. They're definitely three unique, strange movies. But I read up in an interview, apparently at the time, New World Pictures was around. That was Roger Corman's company. Although I think at the point this director got involved with the company had been bought out by other people trying to either keep it going or make it their own. And they had this pitch, but then Heathers got picked up first, and so they made Heathers first. And this would be going to be the second film. But they got delayed in releasing this movie because New World Pictures went down the tubes. That was around the time you had The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. That was supposed to be in theaters, but then went straight to video, which is too bad because I think Dolph Lundgren's The Punisher is awesome. Meet the Applegates is pretty much trying to be a take on the American dream, where the perfect family are actually these big giant bugs that via, I guess, a chameleon ability can look like humans, and it's supposed to be like the Dick and Jane perfect wife, husband, son, daughter, and they're going undercover because their forest, the Brazilian forest, is being cut down. So it's a take on environmentalism and save the rainforest. It's a take on American family values and how those can be twisted and turned, and how human beings can be pieces of trash, among other aspects. And so again, the reason this bug, which are giant, and you do see them, and I know the effects are deemed goofy, but I found a certain sense of charm to them. And maybe because Kevin Yeager, he works for some of the Chucky films and other stuff. Very talented makeup effects guy. And like I said, some people may rag on the effects. I thought they were kind of charming and endearing. Because you do see the family in their true form, these praying mantis type of creatures. You even see some of the transformations, which, I mean, it's not John Carpenter's The Thing. It's not American Werewolf in London, but I saw they were still kind of entertaining. Especially for a comedy and a B-movie comedy. I thought it was, again, pretty fun. Pretty... those elements were, I should say. But anyway, they go to this town because the father's going to get a job at the nuclear power plant because they're going to wreck it and that'll end the human race. Although later on they do admit to themselves, well, how is this one power plant going to end the human race? I mean, they even admit that their plan's got some holes in it. But it's pretty much them, the kids going to school, the dad going to work, the mom being a housewife, and just how the sins of humanity encapsulates them, and they become more human, so they become more flawed and more issues, and each one goes through their downward spiral. Now, the dad's played by Ed Begley Jr., who I remember from Transylvania 65000. The mom's played by Stockard Channing, who's in Grease with John Travolta. The daughter, I don't remember her name. what she's been in. The son I know looked familiar. He was Melvin in Tremors. Melvin, I'm gonna kick his ass. I'm gonna help you. Melvin. Melvin, make you shit this basketball. Pardon my French. It's Melvin, the dickhead kid from Tremors, who then came back for a small part, I think in Tremors 3, I believe. I think at the end of Tremors 3. I think he had a couple bits in the Tremors TV show. So I was like, I knew I recognized him. Now, it was interesting to watch where I get what the director was going for. And it's a film that has kind of a weird tone to it. Heathers, I thought, did a better job keeping that dark comedy line. And then Hudson Hawk was just a live-action cartoon. And I think it works for that film. Because I think Hudson Hawk is actually kind of a fun movie. It's not a perfect movie, but I think that's a fun film. I didn't think it was as bad as people make it out to be. Will you come home and play Nintendo with me? Plus, you know, with Bruce Willis and what he's going through, which is now deemed dementia. It's nice to watch that film again and see Bruce Willis having fun. And I know it was an ego trip, but you know what? I've seen much worse ego trips. And I watch Hudson Hawk than some of these other ego trips for movies. But this, the tone kind of is like an elevator, it seems. Where on one end, since they're big buds, they love eating Butterfingers, and Dabney Coleman's in it. From 9 to 5 with Dolly Parton and others as Aunt B, like their queen, but I guess Aunt B doesn't know how to change right because it's Dabney Coleman, but it's supposed to be a woman, and so it's Dabney Coleman in a dress for at least the first chunk of the movie. But then on the flip side, when the daughter goes out on a date with the Jot assaults her. Like literally R to the A to the P-E. In the P, the gym building, the gym. The PE building. And then, okay, Melvin, I forget the terror's name, so I'll just say Melvin from Tremors. Melvin, he's hanging out with the wrong crowd, and he's a straight A student, but now he's smoking drugs, and you see his downfall. And Ed Begley Jr. is... I don't need a phone call. Shut up. Ed Begley Jr., he's having issues with... What the fuck is it? He's having an affair. Dr. Channing is busy spending credit cards, and she's addicted to credit cards. I get where they're going with, though. The sins of humanity, you have assault, like the daughter, early teen pregnancy. You have affairs, you have addiction, whether it be drug addiction or spending credit card addiction. Sort of founding blocks that can be detrimental to a family. Because using the credit cards is pretty much, I was going to say, gambling. And then drug, sex, all that stuff. And what brings this seemingly perfect American family down to the dumps. And I can get where it's going with. It's just a lot of it I couldn't say I found hilarious or funny. I think that's the thing with me, is that as a comedy, I didn't really laugh at a lot of stuff. Sometimes I would smirk at, okay, they love Butterfingers. Okay. And it was fun to see the old school effects. Like I see the praying mantis, and then once in a while I'd get like a smirk. Like Ed Begley Jr. can't get anything from his wife, so he picks up a science magazine that has bugs in it and goes to the bathroom to do you know what. The way you see the antennas, like, At times they hide the buds, so you just see like a claw hit the alarm bell, or one slept in a cocoon in the corner, and when they wake up, they're buds, and then they turn to humans. So once in a while, there's a bit of a smirk I got out of the film, and the practical effects. Like I said, some may laugh at the praying mantis stuff. I thought it was kind of cute, not cute, but the effects seem a bit charming to me in that '80s style. I do like the transformation is not the best effect. Like I think it's the girl when she transforms when she's being assaulted. The eyes pop up. It's like little balloons. Like you did a balloon and like that's where the eyes are. It's like literally a balloon pops out of each eye. I mean, what? She's made of balloons. Did the guy put condoms on her eyes and she's like breathing through her eyes? They look really bad. I'm like, come on, Kevin Yeager. Why do they look like balloons? But others, like when Melvin, well, I guess this is getting spoilers. When Melvin is turning, it does again. It doesn't look. You've seen better transformations, but it has a fun, charming, practical effect to it. Now, that would go into spoilers. The acting. Let me go into acting first. Ed Begley Jr. I thought was fine. I liked him in Transylvania 65,000. He plays fine as the patriarch of the family. Stockard Channing, nice to see her again. Because I remember from Grease. Melvin, I mean, he's not the strongest actor. I think that's why he worked as Melvin in Tremors, because he was the guy you're supposed to dislike and you're laughing at him. And he's given much more limited screen time in that movie. In this, he's given more screen time. I think that kind of shows he has some rough acting around him. And I'd say of the family, he's the weakest actor. There's just some of his like mannerisms, the way he talks, just seems a bit not up to par with the others. The daughter, I mean, pretty much after the assault, she's just grumpy, pregnant, and becomes a lesbian. It's pretty much all she plays. So I guess she played that fine. Danny Coleman's Danny Coleman, and I mean, I like Danny Coleman. Kind of plays the same type of role he's played in various other movies. Their neighbor is, was it Glenn Shaddix? I think Glenn Shaddix. He played Otho in Beetlejuice. He was also the guy who was with the assistant of Kato and Demolition Man. Like you have Wesley Snipes the villain, but you have the other villain, Kato, the nice businessman who is trying to control this environment. His assistant, the one who Dennis Leary says you look like a couch at the end. Assistant who lives at the end. That's Glenn Shaddix. Again, he was in Beetlejuice. He's in this as a neighbor. He's having a bit of fun as this guy who kills bugs for a living. The reason I keep hesitating is that when I was talking about the tone, like it does these things where they cocoon people, and the aftermath seems very, not grisly, but it seems like they're dead. But you come to find out, no, they're not dead, they're sleeping, incapacitated. Even though it looked like they're as dead as those cocoons and killed clones from outer space. And it seems like they really hate the human race. Like they despise the human race because one assaulted the daughter, and, well, there's more spoilers there, but they make a change in their tune that I don't buy one bit. And I think the third act really crumbles because of that. And I have to go into spoilers. So the daughter's pregnant. She gives birth, and there's these couple people who's going to give them money because you won a contest for the most American, normal family. And then they realize what's really going on. That Stockard Channing spent so much money, their furniture's being taken away. The son is a full-on drug addict. At that point, the daughter is a teen, pregnant teen mom. And then she gives birth to an egg, and they step on and kill it. So they get cocooned. Everybody hates each other. Everybody's mad with each other. Then it like almost roughly cuts to they've gone to an RV. They're bugs out in the woods, and literally for like 40 seconds, it's just talking with subtitles. Wow, everything's so much nicer. It's like how we were. And the kids are playing hide and seek. And one's even joking about whoever does is a rotten egg. Not funny. But it's done in, again, subtitles. And then they see, like, for 5 seconds, a family release a butterfly or something. Then they come back and they have a 180 tune. Tuned up to 180. They're fine, they're happy, they're calmed down, they don't hate humans anymore, or at least they don't want to deal with the nuclear power plant anymore, they don't want to blow it up, they're going up against Danny Coleman. Even when they already did Hun in a gym, because the humans finally find out who they are, because the people who were missing are now... There's no reason why this family should like humans. There's no fucking reason. 2 of them stepped on the egg, the baby. So you killed a baby. Their dog got killed because the dog, in another transformation scene, turned to a fly because the sun was getting him high. And then Otho, Glenn Shaddis from Beetlejuice, the neighbor, finds a big bud and kills it and stuffed on a wall. So that's... The family's dog is stuffed on their wall, the neighbor's wall. So your dog's been murdered and killed. Your pet, I should say, it wasn't a dog, it was a fly. Your pet's been murdered and killed. John Wood would not approve. If your daughter's baby, your grandkid, has been killed. But they just do this 180 turn, and for what fucking reason? Because for 5 seconds they saw a random family we've never seen before or since release butterfly, and there's no conversation about it. What? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all. It makes no fucking sense at all. It's just stupid. It's fucking stupid. And that's what makes the whole finale false. It tries to be like... It's trying to be like a dark comedy with, like, again, assault and drug usage and angst and affairs and people getting cocooned, which seemed like a first draft they were dead, and then it felt like a studio came in and said, no, they gotta be alive and you gotta sweeten it up at the end. And then all that stuff I mentioned, and it ends with a Bud versus Bud fight where if Dabney Coleman and Ed Begley Jr. as mantises spitting goo at each other, and Danny Coleman's Bud slips like a Dick Van Dyke show, and then gets crushed, but not really because he's not dead. Just later on you see Danny Coleman in a wheelchair. And then it cuts to, oh, well, the family's back in the forest, and some of the townsfolk come in, and all is forgiven, and save the rainforest, all that stuff. I'm sitting there going, and now I guess people know that this is the Bud family, and we decide to do things different and do petitions. I'm like, this ending is not fucking earned. This ending feels like it came out of a different fucking movie, dude. Like, what's going on here? What the fuck? I'm not... If you want to have it where they sympathize with the humans, then the humans are never good people. Like, the humans from beginning to end are all shit. From, I mean, maybe the closest is Glenn Shaddix, as in, well, no, I can't even say that, because you understand, he doesn't like bugs. I don't like bugs. We don't like bugs. But even when the family tries to come clean, I mean, that's the thing. I can't blame the town wanting to hang these folks because you're big giant bugs that kidnap some of our people. And I can't blame the family being hating humans because one of your grandkid has been killed, or your daughter's kid, and your pet's been murdered. Like, you two should not be forgiving each other, and the way you forgive each other just... I know it's a stupid fucking B-movie comedy about giant bugs being a family, but even this was a stretch too far for me. I mean, what the fuck? It needed a better finale. I don't know what, but... Like, it wasn't a hilarious to begin with. I don't hate the film. It's an interesting watch. It's a different type of film. There is a little bit of that dark comedy humor from Heathers. I just think Heathers did it better, and I think even Hudson Hawk was funnier than this. It just, at the end of the day, it was interesting to watch as a B movie, to see the special effects sequences among the other stuff. If you wonder what I'm doing, I got my phone. I want to see what else this director's done. It's worth a watch. It's just nothing I would ever do again. As in, I would never watch the film again. I don't know if this has a release of any sort on physical media. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, because I know it does have a cult following. Let's see. Give me his Wikipedia. Look up his filmography. Airheads, of course. I just did commentary on Airheads. How the fuck did I forget that? Maybe because it seems like the first three films are pretty weird, and Airheads seems the more normal of those. So, I love Airheads. I would say Airheads is that. I never think it was a Michael Lehmann film. It's just because of the other movies he's done. But Airheads, love Airheads. I like Heathers. I like Hudson Hawk. Truth About Cats and Dogs, I didn't mind. My Giant, it's there for Billy Crystal. 40 Days and 40 Nights, didn't see. Other stuff I didn't see. And this film came out and cost $5 million, box office $485,000. %, Rotten Tomatoes. Although I think it's like a 5.4 or something on IMDb. But yeah, the movie as is, it was an interesting watch. It was at least short enough to not overstay its welcome. Which I know I say that a lot because you look at films today where a lot of films overstay their welcome. And, I mean, as is, if anything I said interests you, it's worth at least one watch. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.